The story of the Plantagenets begins in the 12th century, during a turbulent period for both England and France.
Geoffrey Plantagenet, Count of Anjou, is considered the father of the Plantagenet dynasty, founding the family as legacy through marriage to Matilda.
Matilda, daughter of King Henry I of England, became the focal point of a power struggle following her father's death.
England was thrown into civil war, known as the Anarchy, between Matilda and Stephen of Blois over who would rule the throne.
The war between Matilda and Stephen was marked by constant fighting and instability, with both sides vying for control of England.
After years of turmoil, Matilda's son, Henry II, emerged victorious and became King of England.
Henry II's reign saw the creation of the Angevin Empire, with lands stretching across England and large parts of France.
Henry II of England ruled not only England but also held vast territories in France, consolidating power over much of Western Europe.
Through marriage and inheritance, Henry's territories in France included Anjou, Normandy and Maine, making him one of the most powerful rulers in Europe.
The Plantagenet dynasty would go on to shape the fate of both England and France for centuries, marked by ambition, rivalry and conquest.
The Angevin Empire was an extensive network of territories across both England and France.
Henry's court was a blend of Anglo-Norman and French aristocracy, solidifying his rule over both realms. Despite Henry II's dominance, his reign set the stage for ongoing tension and disputes with the French crown over territorial control.
Louis II of France was one of the first to confront the growing Plantagenet influence, with increasing tension between the two kingdoms. Philip II Augustus, the French king, would later be a key adversary, pushing back against the Plantagenets and reclaiming lost territories. The battle between the Plantagenets and the French monarchy escalated as Philip II sought to reclaim French lands held by the English.
The Battle of Bouvines in 1214 marked a turning point, with the French decisively defeating King John's forces.
The defeat at Bouvines severely weakened King John's hold on France and set the stage for future conflicts between England and France.
Following the Battle of Bouvines and the Magna Carta, the Plantagenets began to lose their French territories, leading to a period of decline. The 100 Years' War was a defining conflict that saw the English and French crowns locked in a bitter struggle for control over France.
Edward III of England claimed the French throne after the death of Charles IV, starting the 100 Years' War.
The war was marked by a series of bloody battles, with both sides suffering heavy losses in pursuit of control over French territories.
The Battle of Agincourt in 1415 was one of the most famous victories for the English, under the leadership of King Henry V.
Henry V's leadership at Agincourt was a testament to the military prowess of the English, despite being outnumbered by the French.
Despite victories like Agincourt, the English ultimately lost most of their French territories by the end of the 100 Years' War. Joan of Arc became a symbol of French resistance, inspiring the French to rally against the English during the final stages of the war. Joan of Arc's victory at the Siege of Orléans in 1429 was a turning point in the war, boosting French morale and leading to English setbacks.
The Treaty of Picquigny in 1475 formally ended the 100 Years' War, marking the loss of English claims to French soil. By the end of the 100 Years' War, the Plantagenets had lost nearly all their territories in France, leaving England weakened.
The Wars of the Roses were a series of civil wars fought between two factions of the Plantagenet family, the House of Lancaster and the House of York.
Richard III, the last Plantagenet king, fought to hold on to his throne amid the instability created by the Wars of the Roses.
The Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485 marked the end of the Plantagenet dynasty, as Richard III was killed.
Henry Tudor's victory led to the foundation of the Tudor dynasty, which would rule England for the next century. The death of Richard III at Bosworth Field symbolized the end of the Plantagenet reign and the start of a new era in English history.
Henry VII's victory over Richard III marked the end of the long and bitter struggle between the houses of Lancaster and York.
Henry II's coronation in 1485 marked the beginning of the Tudor dynasty, ending the Plantagenet rule in England. The Plantagenet legacy, marked by territorial disputes and internal strife, came to an abrupt end with the victory of the Tudors.
Henry VII solidified his claim by marrying Elizabeth of York, uniting the warring factions of the Plantagenet family.
The rise of the Tudors to power marked the end of the Plantagenet era and the beginning of a new dynasty in England.
The Plantagenet dynasty left an enduring legacy, from its military conquests to the political and... The Plantagenets were a complex family, with multiple branches and intermarriages that influenced the course of European history.
The discovery of Richard III's remains in 2012 symbolized the end of the Plantagenet dynasty and the conclusion of a long history of royal power.
The Plantagenets built some of the most iconic castles and fortifications in Europe, showcasing their military strength and influence.
The heraldry and symbols of the Plantagenet dynasty remain a significant part of England's royal history.
The Plantagenets played a key role in shaping the political landscape of England, laying the groundwork for the evolution of the English Parliament.
The loss of Plantagenet territories in France marked the end of their dominance, but their influence on both nations endured.
The Plantagenets were also known for their military prowess, with battles like Agincourt becoming iconic moments in their history.
Today, the legacy of the Plantagenet dynasty can still be seen in England's political institutions, cultural heritage, and royal history.
Henry II's marriage to Eleanor of Aquitaine in 1152 strengthened the Plantagenet.
Henry II's legal reforms laid the foundation for English common law, influencing legal systems across the English-speaking world.
The Plantagenets were also known for their military strategies, employing new tactics and weaponry to dominate both England and France.
Eleanor of Aquitaine, one of the most influential queens of the Middle Ages, died in 1204, marking the
safe. Richard I, also known as Richard the Lionheart, became one of the most famous Plantagenet monarchs.
Richard's military exploits in the Crusades solidified his legacy as a warrior king, though his absence from England left political instability behind.
King John, Richard's brother, faced tremendous challenges, including the loss of Normandy and the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215.
The Magna Carta, forced upon King John by his barons, is one of the most significant documents in history.
King John's reign was marked by constant rebellion and the loss of English territories in France, weakening the Plantagenet dynasty's power. Edward III's claim to the French throne in 1337 sparked the Hundred Years' War, a conflict that would define the Plantagenet legacy in France. The war saw numerous battles, with both sides vying for control of French territory, and Edward III's claim to the throne at the heart of the conflict.
At the Battle of Crécy in 1346, Edward III's forces achieved a decisive victory. The Siege of Calais in 1347 marked another victory for the English, capturing a key French city and
Despite setbacks, the French rallied under new leadership, and figures like Joan of Arc would become symbol of French resistance against Plantagenet rule.
Joan of Arc's leadership in the Battle of Orléans in 1429 was a turning point in the war, marking the rise of French resistance against the English.
At the Battle of Agincourt in 1415, King Henry V led a famous victory.
The Treaty of Troyes in 1420 temporarily secured English claims to the French throne through marriage.
Right. King Henry VI's reign was marked by internal instability, with disputes between rival factions weakening the...
As the war progressed, the English lost more and more territories in France, marking the end of the
The Wars of the Roses saw the Plantagenet family divided into two factions, the Lancasters and the Yorks, both vying for control of the English throne. The Red Rose of Lancaster and the White Rose of York became the symbols of the rival factions, marking a bitter civil war for control of England.
The Wars of the Roses were filled with bloody battles, betrayals, and shifting allegiances, as the two houses fought for dominance.
Richard III, the last Plantagenet king, fought valiantly to retain the throne but faced immense opposition from the House of Tudor.
The Battle of Bosworth in 1485 marked the end of the Plantagenet dynasty, with Richard III being killed and the crown passing to Henry Tudor. Henry VII, the first Tudor king, ascended to the throne after defeating Richard III, marking the end of
Richard III's death at Bosworth Field symbolized the downfall of the Plantagenet family and the rise of a new dynasty in England.
Henry VII united the warring factions of Lancaster and York through his marriage to Elizabeth of York, solidifying his claim to the throne.
The Tudors ushered in a new era, marking the end of the Plantagenet dynasty. But their legacy lived on.
The fall of the Plantagenet dynasty marked the end of an era of Anglo-French conflict and the beginning of a new chapter in English history.